the show begin. We gon' bring it to the house for the home team. Big plays, big wins for the whole team. We gon' bring it to the house for the home team. We better ready from head to feet.
Swinging to the right center field.
It's time to go. It's time to get ready.
Welcome to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, presented by Chevron. Tonight, the push for the postseason heats up with a significant interleague series in Cincinnati as the Toronto Blue Jays visit the Cincinnati Reds. In the National League, the wild card picture looks like this. The Reds in the final spot right now. But this is after 100 losses last year. Their turnaround has been remarkable. In the American League, the Toronto Blue Jays could see tiebreakers become a factor. The Red Sox have already clinched a head-to-head, and as of right now, the Blue Jays do not have the tiebreaker over the Mariners just behind them. And hi, everybody. Alex Faust, Ryan Spilbergs, Taylor McGregor here with you. The Blue Jays have had a tenuous spot in the wild card hunt for a while now. Their manager, John Schneider, believes the push for the finish line begins tonight.
Yeah, so if I'm a Blue Jays fan, let me give you some confidence. You're going to be just fine. The Toronto Blue Jays are coming. Their offense is going to catch up. Their bullpen is pretty much locked down at this point. I would be a fan of the next couple weeks watching this team go down the stretch.
Whit Merrifield at the top of the order, always been one of the more feared hitters in the American League. Two-hit Whit has found another gear.
It's pretty impressive. This guy didn't really start playing at the major league level consistently until he was 28 years old. You want to see a lost art? How about hitting with 2 strikes? And for Whit, since he's gone to the top of the lineup, he has been on fire. 17 multi-hits, that's the most in the American League. But think about that. 0-2, you get in the big leagues, it's a 160 batting average. You're done. You're out. Whit Merrifield's hitting .313. It's amazing. And you got to love the approach because he's been doing this since 2017. Amount of games played, the amount of hits, second only to Freddie Freeman, which nobody would guess that. He's also led the American League in stolen bases 3 different times. The multi-hits, nearly 300 multi-hit games.
Pretty remarkable.
Two-hit Whit.
He's a consistent threat. Meanwhile, for Cincinnati, it's been a systematic approach, and their rebuild has taken some time. Oh, no. It's actually the Elly De La Cruz phenomenon that's turned things around. The standings and the box office don't lie.
He is lightning in a bottle. He's so much fun to watch play. He brings an excitement and some tools that you just don't see on the major league field. He does a little bit of everything. He can hit the ball hard. He runs fast. He throws exceptionally hard. And beyond that, he is breaking StatCast. To me, that's what's so impressive about him. StatCast is powered by Google Cloud. All right, let's just take a look at his throwing arm. Here's a play earlier in the year. He gets it right behind shortstop, fires to home plate, throws him out at home plate. That's 100 miles an hour from a shortstop. Ridiculous. If you love that, then what about speed? For me, watching De La Cruz is an absolute treat. I think Usain Bolt, when I see him run the stride, it's impressive. 10.83 seconds. That's tied for the fastest in Major League Baseball this season with himself. He's the only one that is capable of doing that. And then when he gets a hold of one, he can switch hit. But when he's left-handed, this ball was absolutely destroyed. On June 7th, he hit a ball 114.8 miles an hour off the bat, 458 feet. That's the longest and hardest home run in 2023.
He is a one-man show. And think about this. Since 1900, only 2 players have 10 or more home runs, 15 or more stolen bases in their first 58 games. Only Barry Bonds, the other guy to do that. It's certainly been part of a youth movement here in Cincinnati. No fewer than 4 rookies in the lineup for the Reds here tonight. With more on that, we welcome in Taylor McGregor.
Alex, when it comes to the Cincinnati Reds, coined the term youth movement. This squad has had 13 different players make their major league debut this season, more than any other team in the Bigs. And not only have these players come up to just eat roster spots, they are the reason that the Reds enter play today, just 2 games back in the NL Central. It all started when Spencer Steer broke with the squad out of spring training. And then about a month and a half into the season, it was Matt McLain and Brandon Williamson who were added. And then shortly after that, at the beginning of June, Elly De La Cruz and Andrew Abbott were added to the big league roster. The squad took off after that. Christian Encarnacion Strand was brought up in the middle of July. And when I was talking to Reds general manager Nick Krall this week, he said, look, there have been ups and downs this season. We still don't feel like we're exactly where we want to be, but there's a lot of encouraging signs. And I'll tell you, an encouraging sign since the end of May, the Reds have the best record in the NL Central, the 4th best record in the National League, and they've proved to Reds fans and people all across baseball that they will be a force to be reckoned with in years to come. A lot of exciting baseball coming your way from Cincinnati. Elly De La Cruz must-see TV here on Apple TV Plus. Friday Night Baseball coming your way after the break.
Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, presented by Chevron. Alongside Ryan Spilbergs, Taylor McGregor down to the field. Alex Faust here with you at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. The Reds and the Blue Jays to begin a 3-game interleague series. John Schneider's Blue Jays scuffling a little bit. They've lost 4 of 6 entering today. Just a little bit of a margin over the Seattle Mariners for the final wild card spot in the American League entering today. Starting lineups are presented by MLB The Show 23. The Blue Jays featuring Whit Merrifield, .315 average on the road this season. That's the 4th highest in the American League. Merrifield currently has an MLB The Show 23 player rating of 81. He will face, for the Cincinnati Reds, a pretty interesting story. Cincinnati can get within 1 game of the division lead with a win in the Brewers' loss here today. A Reds team that we thought would have Brandon Williamson toe the rubber here today, but instead it's going to be Brett Kennedy taking the mound. Kennedy, a player who spent a lot of time in the minor leagues in between appearances at the major league level. Got his start with the Padres organization. Spent 5 years, over 1,700 days between major league appearances. Called up by the Reds earlier this year, and he opens for them this evening.
Well, I love the story, too, because he has played in independent baseball. He was with the Long Island Ducks at different times in the last 2 seasons. He's a wonderful story. Grew up, went to high school, Atlantic City High School, was one of the top in his class, went to Fordham Flash, like Vince Scully. But he can pitch. He knows how to do it. He's always had a low ERA even in his time. Let's spill the beans on Brett Kennedy for the Cincinnati Reds, bulking up. And what we mean here is this bullpen has been taxed over the course of the season. They're getting Nick Lodolo and Hunter Green back at some point. So they need to get some length tonight from Brett, and then dead red. The fastball for him has been fantastic. He has a really good changeup, a good feel for pitching, and so being able to keep this Toronto Blue Jays off the fastball is going to be important. Statcast is powered by Google Cloud. The pitch arsenal for Kennedy's 4-seam fastball, check out the batting average against it. Not very good. It's a 0.67 right now. We get it, limited sample size, but the changeup just keeps hitters off. So you're expecting him to, David Bell was saying maybe get 2 to 3 times through the lineup. He's got a natural ability to get lefties out, so that'll keep him in a lot longer.
Elly De La Cruz, box office phenomenon. And Reds seen an attendance jump of more than 10,000 a game since he made his debut. An electrifying player, a starting shortstop for the Reds. Of course, Joey Votto, is this his final season? And how special would it be if this young group with the longtime veteran Votto could make it to the postseason? First pitch from Kennedy is in there for a strike to Whit Merrifield, and we're underway.
Well, everybody gives credit to Elly De La Cruz, but the player that I think has impacted this Reds team as much as anybody, standing at second base, Matt McLain.
Merrifield bounces one into center, and he continues this tear over the second half. Getting over 300 on the season now. He has a leadoff single.
Well, I want to show you this, Alex, because the simplicity of Whit Merrifield's swing is that he doesn't overswing. He stays inside the baseball. It's a nice, simple, smooth mechanics. I mean, he's the guy that when you're watching, you're like, man, that just looks easy. Well, it is to him.
Merrifield, who had a 7-game hit streak, snapped on Wednesday. Brandon Belt digs in here. One of the more under-the-radar power threats in baseball, though his home run rate a little bit off from previous years.
I like OPS numbers, OPS plus. He leads the Toronto Blue Jays in OPS plus. That might surprise a lot of people. You think Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette. Right now, it's Brandon Belt.
Well, you just said an important name too, Bo Bichette, who had a couple of rehab games, and he's expected back tomorrow for the Blue Jays, which will be a huge boost to this offense that has been sputtering lately. They've scored 4 runs or less in 8 of their last 9 games coming in, as Belt fouls one off the end of the bat.
That's a changeup that's going to keep lefties off. We heard about Kennedy. He has the ability to get lefties out. That's really important, especially if you're trying to get through this Toronto Blue Jays lineup multiple times.
Belt shatters his bat, shoots one to left in the air. Stuart Fairchild battling the sun with the ball tailing away from him, manages to track it down for out number 1.
Well, my guess is Brandon Belt broke his bat on the previous swing. The ball he hit off the end. He goes change up again.
I think it broke.
And this time Kennedy destroys it because that's off the barrel.
We heard something funny.
You can hear home plate umpire. I'm pretty sure he broke it on the pitch before. So Bell probably should have switched out the bat, and you never know what would have happened because he did barrel it.
So that'll bring up
Thank you.
Vlad Guerrero Jr. Just cleaning up the remaining shards from that bat.
So, Larry.
There's been a lot of talk in Toronto about Guerrero's production or lack thereof. But in talking with John Schneider earlier today, they feel that his at-bats have been better lately. He did get into a funk, no doubt. But 3 walks and 8 plate appearances against the Phillies this week. And kind of quietly, last 9 games, he's hitting .298. And if they can just get some of those hard-hit balls where he's been socking the ball all year, just recording a lot of outs.
Yeah, I mean, as you go and dig deeper and deeper into just the peripheral numbers, direction where he's hitting the baseball, how hard he's hitting it, it's all in line.
There goes Merrifield, the pitch inside, throw to second a little high and offline. 23rd stolen base of the season for Whit Merrifield, top 10 in the American League and leading the Blue Jays in that category.
You could tell he had a bit of a walking lead and almost hesitated to the point of getting caught. And for Tyler Stevenson behind home plate, that's now the 73rd stolen base against him.
Stevenson, the everyday catcher, but not as good defensively perhaps as Luke Maile. Merrifield, one of the stolen base leaders in baseball in the last couple seasons. 3-0 count to Guerrero, who takes all the way.
I think what my favorite part about Whit Merrifield and his ability to steal bases is that oftentimes you'll see as players get older, they stop stealing. So that's a nice little number for the old guys.
Appeared in his 1,000th career game last month, Merrifield, as the count goes from 3-0 to 3-2.
And that's a number, the 94-mile-an-hour middle-in fastball to Guerrero, which is off from 2021. He was destroying baseballs, fastballs specifically in 2021. This year, slugging, OPS, batting average, all down significantly.
Strike 3 called, and Guerrero knew it. 2 down.
This is a center cut fastball. There's nothing to it. I mean, that's a pitch. He's looking for something else. Basically tells you right there that Guerrero was sitting off speed. He took a pitch that's legitimately right down the middle.
I'll bring up Cavan Biggio, who's reached safely in 8 of his last 9.
Inside.
Blue Jays have struggled with runners in scoring position all year long. They have the 3rd lowest OPS of any team in baseball with runners in scoring position this year.
Ball 2.
Merrifield, who led off the game with a single. And that's where Guerrero struggles. Boy, instances like that where it hurts.
Ball 3.
And field playing straight up for the lefty, Biggio. Shifted a little bit with De La Cruz behind the bag at second.
And the team doesn't want to talk about it, but it's obvious.
Yeah.
Those are real numbers.
Back-to-back 3-0 counts as Biggio takes a strike. The Blue Jays, it's so interesting because their top line numbers from average, OPS, home runs are about league average, but so many of the top line numbers look fine on the surface. And again, their record looks fine on the surface, right? 12 games over 500. They have the 6th best record in baseball since June 1st. And that's where I think there's that unease among the fans in Toronto right now.
They should be comfortable because it feels like Toronto is coming. The offense is, and the players are too good to keep those numbers where they're at.
Full count to Biggio, and he takes inside for ball 4. So a couple of 3-ball counts. One of them results in a walk. And the Blue Jays have runners at first and second with 2 down. Let's take a look at the Cincinnati defense here. Left to right in the outfield, Stuart Fairchild. TJ Friedl made a spectacular catch on Wednesday, robbing a home run. Will Benson in right. Spencer Steer's been great as a rookie. Of course, you got De La Cruz at short, Matt McLean, Joey Votto around the horn of the infield with Stevenson behind the plates. Matt Chapman. And again, an opportunity here for a guy who definitely can pile up extra base hits year after year. Career high pace in that department, leading the American League in doubles entering tonight.
I'm watching Kennedy and the reaction of some of these Blue Jays hitters, and the numbers bear it out. The league is not hitting his fastball, so he must be hiding. Very deceptive to hitters. That's 94 past you. And so we saw Guerrero take a 3-1 fastball, a 3-2 fastball for a strike down the middle. We saw Cavan Biggio take a 3-1 fastball down the middle.
Again, Kennedy, who hasn't had a lot of time at the major league level, began the year in independent ball with the Long Island Ducks. Signed a minor league contract with the Reds on May 12th. 0-2 to Chapman, and he misses low and away.
It's the beauty of having a changeup as your best secondary pitch, which is what Kennedy has.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and a couple of strikeouts and the threats in the first. Blue Jays leave 2, Reds coming to bat. He's in the lineup for the Reds here tonight. Starting lineups presented by MLB The Show 23. The Reds featuring Matt McLean in the 2-hole. Over 1,000 OPS at home, leading all rookies in baseball. McLean currently has an MLB The Show 23 player rating of 80. Jose Berrios takes the mound for the Blue Jays. As we saw him last week, of course, the changes he's made and pitching from the stretch, looking for his 10th win of the season.
Well, it's surprising, too. This has been one of the best workhorses in Major League Baseball. He gets every 5th day, he takes the rock and goes.
It's a rarity. He got a couple days off to stretch it out. 7 days. Full turn of the week. TJ Friedel leads things off for the Reds as he fouls this off. Spilled the beans on Jose Berrios.
Well, we saw him last week, and we just know that his changeup slurve combination is electric, and we're going to put the burr in Berrios, especially when it comes to this Reds lineup. And the Matador, this Reds team, they don't chase. They're really good in the strike zone, and so if you're the Matador and you have this bull coming at you, you want a little bit of the Olay.
Ball hit in the air to left. Varsho, a little trouble with the sun initially, but he makes the catch. Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal for Berrios.
Well, for Jose, he has 2 pitches that have a 33% whip rate. Is that good? Yes, that's phenomenal. It's the changeup and the slurve both have that. It also forces people to swing outside the strike zone. So with a team like the Reds that doesn't chase, Jose can get you to chase, and he can get you to swing and miss.
Well, since April 14th, only Garrett Cole has a lower ERA among starting pitchers. Berrios coming off his worst home outing of the year, just 4 1/3, 9 hits, 6 runs against the Cubs last Friday.
Yeah, we saw that, but it really boiled down to a changeup to Cody Bellinger.
As he fields this comebacker from McLean for the second out. So 2 quick outs for Berrios, and this is what their defense looks like. Dalton Varsho, remember, made that catch for the first out. And he has 20 defensive runs saved this year. That's the most in the big leagues. Kevin Kiermaier, of course, a Gold Glove winning center fielder. They have Kevin Biggio in right tonight. Chapman, Santiago Espinal at short. Whit Merrifield at second, and Vlad Guerrero Jr. at first with Alejandro Kirk behind the plates. Here is De La Cruz. He got moved to the leadoff spot after that torrent start.
Yeah, not for everybody.
It seemed to have impacted his numbers. And you get extra bats, of course, when you're in the leadoff spot as well.
And they just pile on, especially when you start feeling like your swing isn't quite right. And those numbers, I mean, they add up. The 695 OPS, worst of any spot where De La Cruz is in. When he made his Major League debut, they had him hit cleanup. And you get it. I mean, you have a player this dynamic. He can run. He can hit for power. You want him to hit as many times as possible. But sometimes those players, it's too much.
You could understand why they wanted to throw a lot at him. There's legitimate and understandable belief that he can handle all that's been thrown at him. Only 1 stolen base shy of 20. As he swings and misses for strike 3 here. 3 up, 3 down for Berrios. No score through 1.
TV Plus, Blue Jays and Reds, 2 teams searching for playoff berths this season, and also 2 teams who are in need of getting key pieces back from the IL. And for the Blue Jays, that is Bo Bichette, and Blue Jay fans love to see this. This is last night in his rehab assignment, hit a home run. That's one of 4 hits he had, all while playing shortstop as well. So he is en route to Cincinnati, expected to be activated off of the injured list tomorrow. And you guys were talking about it up in the booth. Blue Jays at times have struggled to score runs. They're 16th in the majors in runs per game. And Bo Bichette, an all-star with an 847 OPS, so he will be a welcomed addition back to the squad, guys.
Taylor, what is remarkable to me, he still leads the majors in hits despite being out since the beginning of August. But he plays every day, so you know the volume of hits is one thing, but still, this is 3 weeks now, and it forced them into a trade a little bit, getting Paul DeJong from the Cardinals just as a defensive backup, if you will.
And I don't think they're going to regret that trade even if it came in as a defensive backup role.
As this is smacked foul by Kirk.
I mean, this list right here is so incredible. It's the amount of times that there's been an AL leader that has led for multiple seasons. Ichiro did it the most from 2006 and 2010. Jose Altuve, we know what he's capable of doing. And there's Bo Bichette, Kirby Puckett, one of my favorites, Tony Oliva, and then Ty Cobb. Give you an idea of just how remarkable the first couple seasons have been for Bo Bichette.
It's always fun for our crew when we get to use a black and white photo in any graphic. Kirk with a broken bat goes to get a new piece of lumber. Two-strike count, and Kirk stays alive. I know we've talked about the Blue Jays struggling. Reds have hit the skids a bit too since the trade deadline. 4-10 in the month of August, tied for the fewest wins in baseball this month. Another foul ball from Kirk.
I can't give you one, dude. That's not how this works. It's not my discretion. Thank you.
I think Kirk was asking more for a little extra time so he could buy some time for his home plate brethren.
Kirk, sharply hit ground ball. De La Cruz gobbles it up for the first outs. Well, you noticed it earlier, Spilly. Kennedy has been somewhat deceptive with his pitching.
There's no question. He started looking at some of the StatCast numbers from his fastball. We get it. There's 2-3-0 counts. StatCast is powered by Google Cloud. He took 2 fastballs down the middle in an at-bat. A couple of fastballs called outside, and he did get the swing and miss from Matt Chapman. But we saw the numbers, and they kind of stood out. The four-seam just somehow gets on top of these major league hitters consistently.
Big shift on here for Dalton Varsho. Varsho has proven to be quite capable in left field this year. He's out in front there. Look at the infield. Spray chart would guide him to shift. Varsho chops one foul. Take a look at why they shift Dalton Varsho.
Well, the pull percentage, almost 62% of the time he's pulling the baseball, which is 4th most in Major League. And a year ago, as I was watching Varsho when he was with the Arizona Diamondbacks, defensively, he had a remarkable season. It's also crazy because he comes from a very good baseball family, but he has the ability to catch. He was a catcher and essentially a Gold Glove outfielder.
I don't know if it's the deception of the pitches or not. That's the 3rd broken bat.
Well, the other aspect about this ballpark and I made my debut here and I happen to have a chance to play here a bunch of times. The batter's eye at this moment, the way the sun is shining on the background, a little bit harder for hitters to pick up the baseball.
Varsho, a hot shot in the air to left center and down for a base hit. A 1-out double for Dalton Varsho. And the Blue Jays, for the 2nd time in as many innings, have a man in scoring position.
We're just showing how he pulls the baseball so much, and this time he goes opposite field. There's a 93-mile-an-hour four-seam at the top, and Dalton just beats him to it. Really short swing. You have to have it short when you're swinging at the top of the strike zone.
Varsho came over in the Lourdes Gurriel trade. 18th double of the season as Santiago Espinal lines out.
I'll take them all. Thank you.
towards the batter's eye. So as you kind of scale back and you put yourself in the batter's box, what hitters are looking for is darkness, so you can pick up the spin. That's why the batter's eye is so important. And if there's any sort of brightness, and thank goodness the sun is down, it should be easier for Kevin Kiermaier to hit.
Kevin Kiermaier reinstated for the 10-day IL today. Last played on August 6th. Bizarre circumstance why he landed on the IL. Deep laceration in his right arm, colliding with the scoreboard at Fenway Park. As he bounces one to first, Votto backpedaling makes the play. And that'll do it for the Blue Jays in the second as they leave another man stranded. Baseball on Apple TV Plus is presented by Chevron, the human energy company. Alex Faust, Ryan Spilbergs, Taylor McGregor here with you in Cincinnati. Gorgeous night for baseball. Mild temperatures and pretty significant interleague series. Blue Jays and the Reds. After this 3-gamer, Cincinnati will set off on a 10-game West Coast road trip. Toronto with a lot of division play remaining, and there's been a lot of chatter on their struggles in division play. Which one, or whether both of these teams might yet make the postseason. Spencer Steer at the plate here. Joey Votto on deck. By the way, we were talking all about De La Cruz, rightfully so, but how about the numbers for Spencer Steer this year?
Watched him make his major league debut a year ago, and his first at bat he hit a homer. He just has a good sense. He's a ball player. Grew up in Long Beach, California. Actually makes his off-season home in Colorado. Spent the last 3 off-seasons in Colorado. Trains with a lot of different players in Centennial. But he has a good understanding of the strike zone. That's what separates for me, Alex. This Reds team, as much as we talk about youth, they have a veteran approach. They do not chase. They stay within the strike zone. That's a hard attribute to find.
Inside.
Steer, who leads all National League rookies in hits and runs batted in. Made the team out of spring training as their everyday third baseman. Said he emulates a lot of his game after Jonathan India, who of course is the kind of de facto captain, if you will, the vocal leader on this team. Say nothing of Joey Votto on deck. There's a good example too. A lengthy at bat here for Steer, fouling off several pitches. This will be the 8th pitch to Steer. And he takes just off the outside edge.
Fantastic. I mean, pointing this out when it comes to Barrios, he wants you to chase. He has a very high chase rate. 33% of the league will chase pitches outside the strike zone. Spencer Steer chases 23%.
And there's ball 4.
That's amazing. Nice at bat.
And that'll bring up Votto.
Joey Votto.
Votto lines this one foul. 13 home runs in 46 games for Votto in what is now his 16th major league season. Didn't make his season debut until June 19th. Rotator cuff injury, partial tear to his bicep tendon. Snap throw from Kirk, and Steer back in plenty of time. Boy, it was a long road back for Votto, and he took his time. There were a couple of false starts earlier this year, but since he's come back, he's on a 45 home run pace for a full season.
He just knew his body. He knew it wasn't ready. I think the thing that stood out when talking to Joey Votto and even coaching staff and training staff when he was hurt, there were certain positions he couldn't get his body into where he knew I wouldn't be able to compete at the highest level.
Spent nearly a year off the field, homered in that first game back, had a multi-home run game a couple days later, so he knew when it was time.
And during that rehab, we saw him come up to the broadcast booth.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time with John and Barry, John Sadak and Barry Larkin. Really good broadcast group.
Ball 3.
But I asked him today around the batting cage, how much of doing the broadcasting do you want to do that? He's like, no. Now it made me miss being on the field that much more. And it also made him realize how much he loves baseball. For Votto, I mean, he's hitting the ball everywhere. That's what makes him such a good hitter, is he does go middle portion of the field, can pull it when necessary. You'll see guys as they do age, they try to pull the baseball a little bit more. The fact he can still hit opposite field home runs.
Oh, he thought he had a free base there. We'll see if he was right. One down.
This is what makes Jose so good, is that running fastball. He starts it, it's called a hip shot. He started on a left-hander's hip and let it naturally work its way back.
Second strikeout for Berrios. Christian Encarnacion Strand here. Another rookie. One of, as Taylor mentioned earlier, 13 players make their major league debut for the Reds. Encarnacion Strand, just his 28th major league appearance.
I'm gonna wind it.
He was tearing up AAA Louisville. I mean, it's not like the Reds rushed any of these guys to the major leagues. They were all ready. They were handling the lower levels. But a strikeout for Encarnacion Strand. And there are two gone in the second.
Jose reaches back again, just grabs 95 miles an hour. He goes to the top of the strike zone with the sinker. So it's not a four-seam at the top. That was a two-seamer at the top. Joey looking back on the pitch.
Tyler Stevenson here. It's easy to forget, too, with Berrios. He has been among the more consistently good pitchers in the game this year. Like a bounce-back year for him. And on the road, his last 9 road starts, 5-1, a 2.32 ERA.
And for Toronto, as we're watching their bullpen shake up, with the addition of Jordan Hicks, Jordan Romano back, it's basically a 6-inning sprint.
Ball gets away from Kirk here. And allows Steer to get to second. See how they score that.
It'll go down as a wild pitch. So a changeup in the dirt. Kirk tries to get down. Just kicks off. And they're trying to get Tyler Stevenson going. He's 2 for his last 22. He came on the off day, Alex, to work on his swing, which is either good or bad depending on the results you get.
2-2 pitch fouled off. Yeah, it's the first time. We were talking with David Bell earlier. He said it's the first time for Stevenson that he believes in his life that he's ever really struggled with confidence. He's always been a good hitter. Even last year, I know it was marred by an injury that took most of his season away, but in the small sample size, he was hitting over 300. Really good take there, the bottom of the zone. The count runs full.
3-2.
He might have got away with the pitch right here. It looked like a strike from upstairs, and it's in the strike zone, according to StatCast.
Barrios trying to.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Barrios last week, when we saw him against Chicago and the Cubs, there was a couple real tight misses that didn't go in his way, and it kind of spiraled for him. He can get emotional. You can tell some of the emotions. Kirk's called it, so he's looking back at Spencer Steer. Doesn't see that Alejandro Kirk had called timeout.
Barrios' last 3 outs recorded have all been strikeouts. After an 11-pitch first inning, laboring here, this will be the 26th pitch of the inning. And that's ball 4 to Stevenson.
That's why the missed pitch kind of frustrates any pitcher, because it's multiple pitches that cost you. You could have been out of the inning, and now you have to face Will Benson, who he has the ability to run into one. It's a 3-run game.
So Steer at second, Stevenson at first, and Benson. Talk about all the rookies with the Reds. He's only in his second major league season.
He's putting up some big numbers.
Outside.
Alex, he has a 389 on base percentage. Actually, it's 386, 516. So the OPS is close to 900.
Outside.
Yeah, the season numbers, because this is his second major league stint. They don't qualify, but he'd be the second highest average on the team. Mentioned the on base. It's been great. Last 61 games, he's hitting .319. Taylor?
Well, Joey Votto gave him some big advice, and that's be on time for the fastball and try to control as much of the zone as possible. One of the things that's improved for him is the numbers against the fastball in this span.
We'll see if he can attack one in a hitter's count. 2 balls and a strike as Barrios tries to work out of this here, as he pulls the string on Benson, even the count 2-2.
Good looking changeup. Starts as a strike. Basically all 58 feet it's in the strike zone, and the last 2 feet it drops off.
Barrios with a long look to second, comes home and strikes out Benson to end the threat for the Reds. 4 Ks already for Barrios. Whit Merrifield due up for Toronto. No score. Courtesy of BetMGM. NL Rookie of the Year ballot. Corbin Carroll is running away with it, but have a lot of choices here in Cincinnati. I wonder if they might split the vote in the end and pave the way for Carroll. And that's why the odds are where they're at.
Carroll, at some point in the season, he was pacing Ronald Acuna as a possible MVP. In the second half of the season, it slowed down, but there's some big-time talent for the Reds, including Andrew Abbott.
Yeah. And just based on importance, like just to have some steady starting pitching. They're still without Hunter Green. He's expected to come back on Sunday. Nick Lodolo's been out. That's part of the reason why Brett Kennedy is starting tonight for the Reds. In fact, they just announced that it's going to be Green's game for sure on Sunday. Big swing from Merrifield. Top of the order here for the Jays. No score. Game 1 of a 3-game interleague series. Merrifield, the line drive foul. Pre-game, Hunter Green getting some work in. Right, when that fastball is cooking, it's pretty amazing to watch.
And the Reds were hoping.
As Merrifield flies one to right. This will be caught by Benson. During the break, Taylor caught up with Reds manager David Bell. Our manager interview is presented by Sage.
What have you thought of Kennedy so far?
Good. He's spotting his fastball well. He's locating it well. Using his changeup, mixing in some sliders. It's a good hitting team, so he's got to be able to keep doing that.
When you guys are at your best offensively, you're getting on base. What did you think of being able to get some traffic and make Barrios work there and that happening?
Yeah, some really good at-bats right there by Spencer and Tyler. If we continue to do that and get opportunity, get us on the bases and make them work a little bit harder, it could help us a lot.
Thank you. Alex?
All right, Taylor. I think we've seen why the Reds believed in Kennedy and signed him after starting the year in independent ball.
His fastball just gets on Blue Jays hitters.
Though Belt lines one to right, just past the glove of Votto. 1-out single for Brandon Belt.
Well, this hit comes off the changeup, a bit of a knuckleball towards Joey Votto. Sometimes when you square up a baseball, come off like a knuckleball. To 103 miles an hour, right past diving Joey Votto. You can even see as he hits it, there's no spin.
So with a runner on, here's Guerrero. Oh, gets plunked by a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and will take his base. And in every inning, Blue Jays have had a man in scoring position, but 0 for 4 so far.
This is a two-seam fastball. It goes inside. That's how the league has pitched Guerrero. They're trying to go fastball in, sliders away. And luckily for Guerrero, that pad, it still hurts. It's not like it doesn't. Pad only blocks so much.
Biggio, what a stop by McLean, who fires to second to get it out. That was ticketed for right field and perhaps a run. Matt McLean with a sparkling defensive play. 2 gone.
This has been the difference maker for me watching the Cincinnati Reds is McLean. I mean, he has the ability to play shortstop. They have him at second tonight. In between hop, that's usually the hardest, especially going to the glove side. Quickly gets to his feet, gets that lead. That second base runner, thinking maybe Ellie might fire it across.
So Biggio on with the fielder's choice. Runners at the corners, 2 away, and Chapman. Put a star next to that play.
Ball 2.
So Belt gets to third. And Chapman, for the second time, has a couple of runners on base. Struck out swinging to end the first. Chapman in the air to right. In front of the wall, it's Benson. And that retires the side. Blue Jays have already stranded 5 in this game for 2.5.
Podcast is powered by Google Cloud. A week ago, we watched Jose Berrios against the Chicago Cubs. It ended up being one changeup, led to several runs off Cody Bellinger. Tonight, Berrios is using his changeup far more effectively and more often. He's used 10 so far through the first 2 innings. And it's also setting up the fastball at the top of the strike zone, which we haven't seen.
Starts off with a fastball to Fairchild. Recalled in the wake of Jonathan India's injury. India still out with plantar fasciitis, kind of had a setback recently. Clubhouse has talked about how much they've missed him, and the record shows this month where they've lost 10 of 14.
Outside.
Nine, 1-2 for the Reds. The bottom of the third. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes to Fairchild.
A challenge with any sort of foot injury, having had plantar fasciitis as a player myself. Very frustrating. Very frustrating. You think you're ready. It's almost a pain tolerance injury, which is unfair to players. And it usually leads to changing of a mechanic.
But you can't really run. You can't really put weight. Like it's got to be frustrating even to try to work through, because there's not much you can do, right?
You can't do much. So you try to play through it. You want to grind through it. You want to show your teammates how much you want to be out there for them. But you're just not impactful anymore.
Nice at bat for Fairchild. Third walk for Berrios. And a leadoff man is on for Cincinnati. During the break, Taylor McGregor caught up with Blue Jays manager John Schneider. Our manager interview is presented by Sage.
Well, let's start with Whit Merrifield just leading this game off with a single and then a stolen base. What has he meant to this offense?
I mean, he's been about as consistent as you can hope for. Kind of the prototypical leadoff guy. Really swinging the bat well the second half, and really good base runner as well. He's been as consistent. He's been a big part of what we're doing.
What about Berrios? What have you thought about what he's done so far?
I think he's got great stuff tonight. Fastball has really good life. I think he's kind of on the edges of the plate a little bit. Hoping he can kind of get right after the hitters and get ahead in the count.
Thank you. Alex?
Taylor. TJ Friedl here with the leadoff man aboard. Matt Chapman in on the grass at third, expecting a bunt.
Friedl's a good story. He was a non-drafted free agent coming out of Nevada.
Line drive right back at Berrios, who throws to second for one. Guerrero unable to make the pick at first to complete the double play. The Blue Jays will hope that Berrios only took a glancing blow there. And Schneider immediately jogging out of the dugout.
Looks like he hit the guante. That's a glove in Spanish.
No. Just hit him pretty hard.
On the line drive.
Hard shot off the bat of Friedl. Good recovery from Jose to get at least the lead out at second. We couldn't tell if it got any part of his body. He seems to be acting like it just hit glove, and then of course it's going to hit your fingers behind the glove. I didn't catch him in the leg, so he blocked it, but it still came at a cost.
We'll see. A couple of warm-up pitches, seems to be okay. I think you could hear there from our Mike home plate umpire Dan Bellino that potentially jammed one of those fingers, but gives the thumbs up after those warm-up pitches. So McLean now, after Barrios takes a 97-mile-an-hour comebacker to get the lead runner.
Well, this is the best base stealing team in Major League Baseball. They're also good at base running, going first to third, very aggressive. Friedel, 22 stolen bases on the season.
Cincinnati's stolen more and attempted more than any other team. Again, coinciding with the debut of De La Cruz. Playing out in front of the off-speed pitch. Cincinnati third in baseball in extra bases taken, to your point, Billy. They've made more outs on the base paths than any other team, and sometimes it's a bad look, but I think David Bell and this team, they are more than happy to take their lumps occasionally with that. These are all near the top of baseball in ranks. Obviously caught stealing a lot with all the attempts. Another good at bat from McLean.
I also have no problem with having aggressive base running because it forces defense to be uneasy. So the defense knows that this is an aggressive base running team. They have to think about changing their timing, their looks, making sure they hit the cutoff man.
And McLean strikes out. It's number 5 for Barrios.
Thank you.
He used the changeup. The fastball's been electric tonight. He's touched 97 a couple times, right out of the hand. Looks like a strike. Clean swing straight through it, right in front of it.
I'll bring up De La Cruz. Batting from the left side.
Well, normally I would look at a pitch count and I would say 60 pitches almost through 3 innings is not very efficient. That's not a good spot.
De La Cruz on the ground is second. Merrifield to his right to field, and he'll go the short way to retire the side. Through 3, still looking for the game's first run. Weekly Siri trivia question. Just ask Siri, who was the first Reds player to win NL Rookie of the Year? We'll have the answer in just a bit. Jonathan India won it a couple of years ago. 2021 National League Rookie of the Year. Will De La Cruz add his name to that list? Alejandro Kirk pops this up a mile high into shallow right. Long way to go for Matt McLean to make the catch, and they're hoping that Jonathan India will not have any further setbacks. Taking some swings prior to the game today. There are some question marks just in the long run about his future and what is a packed infield in Cincinnati.
I think you get to that bridge when you get there. I mean, their team is better when he's in the lineup.
TJ Friedel called him the centerpiece of this Reds team. A lot of young talent here in Cincinnati. And perhaps a sense, as Taylor reported earlier, talking to Nick Krall in the front office, that they're still a bit ahead of schedule. Maybe that's why they weren't as aggressive at the trade deadline, feeling that, well, why tinker when you've got this long-term plan? Taylor?
Well, when it comes to injuries, you reported that Hunter Greene will be back and starting for the squad on Sunday, and then Nick Lodolo they expect to be back 2 more times through the rotation. So you just look at that, it's almost like acquiring guys at the deadline, having those guys healthy and back for a starting rotation that has struggled.
Yeah, they need it. Reds, look at this injury list here. Green's been out for a while with hip issues. Staff ERA is 3rd worst among starters in baseball, so any stability they can get would be great.
I think that board shows why the Reds did what they did come trade deadline. I know it was frustrating for a lot of Reds fans. They were hoping for some splash. Like Grant Ashcraft is pitching well. You know what Hunter Greene is capable of doing when he's right. Still love to see him use his changeup a little bit more.
The template, to me, we've talked about it a couple different times this year, seems to be how the Orioles approached things last year, because they were in a spot kind of similar to where Cincinnati is right now. Right in the hunt. Maybe they'll make it, maybe they won't. And they were sellers. They committed to the plan. Seems to have paid off this year.
But the one argument against Cincinnati being passive come trade deadline is National League Central in comparison to the American League East, different sort of animals.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Now, Milwaukee just ran into the buzzsaw known as the Dodgers. They're only up a couple of games now over the Reds. The Cubs, 2nd best record in baseball since July 21st. They've made up 5.5 games in the division over that span. And the Reds just 1 game behind the Cubs in the loss column.
Well, the Cubs lost today to Kansas City.
Yeah.
And Kansas City's been swinging the bat as well as any team in baseball.
The Reds, by the way, currently have a head-to-head tiebreaker over the Cubs. It's tight, so it'll come down to the final couple division games. You see the updated standings. Reds just 2 games back of the Brewers. I mean, this division is still very much up for grabs. Santiago Espinal here, grounds one off the mound, rolls to McLean, and it's a 1-2-3-4 for Brett Kennedy. Steer, Votto, Encarnacion Strand due up for Cincinnati in the bottom of the 4th. Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, presented by Chevron, alongside the 7-year Major League veteran Ryan Spilbergs. Taylor McGregor is down to the field. Alex Faust here with you. Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Couldn't ask for a better night. Reds and the Blue Jays still looking for the game's first run. Middle third of the order for the Reds. Steer, one of 3 Reds rookies with 10 or more home runs. That is never in the century-plus history of the Cincinnati Reds happened before. All these young players coming up at the same time. And then you've got longtime veteran in Votto on deck.
That's pretty amazing. 10 home runs, over 10 stolen bases, and you're hoping that Dela Cruz tonight gets 20 stolen bases, so it'll be a record.
Ground ball to third. Chapman across the diamond. 1 gone. Votto coming to the plate. Taylor, what do you have?
Well, Votto, of course, is the guy within the clubhouse who is teaching all of these rookies how to be a professional in this game. And I was asking him today, what is your #1 piece of advice? And he said to play as much as possible, get as many at-bats as possible. And he said you will want days off, but take a day off against a pitcher you know you're going to dominate. Face the pitchers who are really tough because they will expose your weaknesses, and then you can take that information, go to the batting cage, and work on that. This is a guy who knows hitting and can talk hitting unlike anyone I've ever been around. Spilly, if a young player, if you heard that, what would be your reaction?
I need a long-term contract so I can face the best pitchers in the world, not worrying about getting sent down to the minor leagues. I think it's brilliant advice. I mean, you have to learn how to fail, and these type of pitchers are the best way to learn.
You won't find any other player, I think, right now who can inject that kind of energy for as long as he's been at this. Of course, maybe all you need to do is just pin him alongside, Chris Russo, and get him going against the Mad Dog.
Have him bury him.
Yeah. Pretty remarkable. Only 4 other players have spent as many seasons and their entire career with the Reds. Votto hits one high in the air to right, but foul.
Well, the best hitters in the world, they match up against the best pitchers in the world. And watching Joey, he's so smart, so astute. This time it's not like he's sitting on the changeup, but his swing and his bat path keeps him so he's able to make solid contact with it.
Votto the other way in the air, slicing towards the line and caught by a fan.
And a captain's hat? Yes.
Yes,
so
in the captain hat.
Okay, perfect. So tonight's Yacht Rock night. That's why all the captain hats are out. So we're going to be singing Toto after the game. Brandon Belt, when he was with the San Francisco Giants, was known as the captain. These are not Brandon Belt hats.
All I know is...
You want one?
I want one. Desperately. Berrios with another payoff pitch to Votto. And Votto grounds one to second. Merrifield with the second out.
There's the captain. Brandon Belt. Last season when he was with the Giants, he self-appointed himself the captain of the Giants. Took some tape, put a C on his jersey. And then there's several trips that the Giants went on where the team wore sailors' outfits, and he was the captain of the team.
Self-appointed.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your self-appointed title in Colorado?
Leader of the bench, the Goon Squad.
Encarnacion Strand, high drive, deep left. If it's fair, it's gone. It is foul.
I don't know how far foul this one really is, just because he goes so far.
Where did this land?
Kentucky. Wow. Last time the Cincinnati Reds won a World Series was 1990, and that hit the sign. That's a long ways. It's also a good quiz if you're ever wondering who's the last team back-to-back World Series in the National League. It was the 1975 and 1976 Cincinnati Reds.
The Reds, who have the 5th longest pennant drought in baseball, not since 1990.
2-2.
And a close call for Berrios.
I gotta snap my slider.
Encarnacion Strand goes around. And it's 3 up, 3 down the 4th for Berrios to keep the game scoreless.
Update out to the Bronx. We go 1-0 Red Sox with the lead until this happens. Masataka Yoshida with a 3-run shot. 4-0 Sox, now 7-0. Alex, a bit of a blowout so far.
All right, LG, I'm going to go to you, Spilly, now. Is it time to stick a fork in the New York Yankees?
Yes, yes, yes. It'll be the first time you've seen the Yankees with a losing record since 1992.
This is already the latest in a season they've been under 500 since 1995. And they just have not been able to fix the seemingly structural woes on their roster.
There's just too many flaws. They were expecting a little bit more from Carlos Rodon. He didn't come back till halfway through the season. Luis Severino has been tough. And then the team offense, it's... You knew it. They had an Aaron Judge problem when he was out of the lineup. And it doesn't solve it when you have Aaron Judge back and he's still not 100%. They're 29th in baseball in batting average.
Well, the on-base number that struck me was just like it's historically among the worst in franchise history.
Yeah, and I'm not piling on. Those are the facts of the facts. The stats are the stats.
Kiermaier takes inside.
3-2. Toronto's better. Baltimore's better. Tampa's better. Boston's better.
Popped up by Kiermaier. De La Cruz, couple steps on the outfield grass to put it away. And the lineup will turn over to Merrifield.
I'll tell you what, Kennedy's doing a really nice job tonight for Buddy Bell and this pitching staff. They had to move on from Luke Weaver. The numbers were just not good enough, and kind of putting the bullpen in a tough spot.
Ball one.
That's all that David Bell wanted, was just get some length out of this guy.
Well, he's doing exactly what you need, and that number, dead red, he's been on. He has a disappearing fastball. We have not seen healthy hacks against the fastball. And it's not the big velocity. It's sitting right around 93 miles an hour. That's more than enough, but there's some spin to it. So he's getting carried through the strike zone right at the top, and it pairs really well with the changeup. There's a changeup. So beyond that, and Alex, I say this, when you think about pitching and using your pitches, the bullpen's starting to get active. Throwing a changeup over 25% is really important. He's throwing it 35% tonight because you can't guess.
Weak ground ball from Merrifield. De La Cruz to his left. 2 gone in the 5th. And Brett Kennedy, we touched on it at the beginning of the night. A player who has faced a lot of adversity in trying to break through. He got that cup of coffee with the Padres late in 2018. Missed all of 2019 with a lat strain. Then COVID wiped out the minor league season in 2020. Gets released by the Padres. Gets an opportunity with the Red Sox in their farm system last year. Was okay, but ultimately didn't pan out there. Starts the year in unaffiliated ball. The Reds wind up seeing some of his work. They give him a chance. And in a spot start for the second time this year, is giving them some much needed length.
Well, it's for independent baseball to see players like Brett Kennedy make it to the big leagues and not just make it, have some success. And the Long Island Ducks are probably one of the most well-known independent baseball teams. We saw Daniel Murphy trying to make a comeback. He retired last week. He was actually signed to a minor league deal with the Angels.
Bell pops this up. Shallow right, long run. Friedel makes the call and the catch. And Brett Kennedy, what a start. 5 scoreless in the Queen City. By authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Through the years, some of the rookies of the year to suit up for the Cincinnati Reds, which gives us a chance to answer our Siri trivia question. Who was the first Reds player to win National League Rookie of the Year? The answer, Frank Robinson in 1956.
Nice one.
No score, bottom of the 5th here in Cincinnati.
Well, Frank Robinson's one of those players when you really start digging into the history of baseball, understanding just how good he was. Hall of Famer, Triple Crown, World Series MVP, batting title, 2-time MVP.
I think it ran off.
Now you hear about wins above replacement. He's a 107. To give you an idea, now you get into the 60s, 70s in wins above replacement WAR on Baseball Reference. That's a borderline Hall of Famer.
Well, they're hoping to recapture some of the glory here in Cincinnati, what is a terrific baseball town. Stevenson strikes out to begin the 5th, but Rio still hasn't allowed a hit. Joey Votto was pretty close. Kristen Encarnacion Strand, probably even closer. But so far, just the 3 walks and TJ Friedel reaching on a fielder's choice. That's it for base runners for the Reds.
Well, you can tell, I mean, he has the giddy up on the fastball. We're seeing 97. The changeup is really been a good equalizer for him to keep people off the fastball. He's getting good run. He's locating. I mean, he probably wants to be a little bit more efficient, but when you have your A stuff and you have 7 strikeouts, you're going to get a lot of foul balls and a lot of swing and miss.
Will Benson here. Ball 2 strikes from Rios. Taylor.
We talked about with Benson, the advice from Joey Votto was be on time for the fastball. Well, since the end of May when he was recalled, he has the 6th best OPS in the majors. And you look at his damage against the fastball, the slug way up. He's been on time for the fastball, and he said for him it was just going into the batter's box with a plan, and all that thanks to Votto.
Benson, another strikeout victim, though, Taylor. That's number 8 for Barrios.
Well, 3 straight. And in a guy like Benson, he's tall, so 6'5", 6'6". You might feel like he's grown. There's a lot of swing and miss on big bodies. So the fastball up and away. Again, going to show you how much the changeup just changes the eye level of a hitter, because then he can elevate with the fastball.
Reds hitters have just looked off balance against it all night. Fairchild walked his first time. Back with the team that originally drafted him. Claimed off waivers from the Giants last summer.
That's the thing as a hitter right now. You know, Fairchild's trying to, is he going to go fastball back up again? He can go slurve. He can go backdoor sinker with movement. He can throw the changeup, whatever he wants.
And a weak ground ball from Fairchild. Chapman across the dime and a throw off the bag. And Fairchild is safe. Guerrero tried for a swipe tag. He says that he got a piece of Fairchild's jersey and wants John Schneider to challenge.
Catch, the swipe, yeah, he's out.
More than a piece.
Well, they already told him he's out.
Blue Jays walk off the field. 8 straight retired by Jose Berrios, and he is still not allowed a hit tonight. Zeros through 5. Umpire joins us. We saw what was a pretty quick overturned call there. What was your interpretation of what happened?
Yeah, hey, umpiring's the third team. I love to see good crewmates out there working together. Veteran umpire Phil Cuzzy come in, got his angle, couldn't see the swipe tag. Going to Dan Bellino, the crew chief, down the line. One of the reasons he hustles up the line to take a look, he's able to see the swipe tag. He can help his partner Phil out. They can get it right without having to go to replay.
That's great.
Appreciate it, Ted. Guerrero gets a hold of one, deep left field. This will stay in the park, though. Wow, I thought he had better contact off the bat.
Just off the end of the bat.
Yeah.
He did catch it in front. So Buck Farmer's in. A really nice start for Brett Kennedy. There's the slider. And you'll watch it. He'll end up hitting right off the end.
Off the bat.
So Farmer, who has struggled out of the pen lately for the Reds, which is a theme, frankly, for this Cincinnati bullpen that has an ERA close to 5.5 in the month of August. First half of the season was great, and he's one of 3 relievers regularly used by Cincinnati. Ian Gibaut and their usual closer Alexis Diaz. They're all 54+ outings this year. This Reds bullpen has been taxed.
Well, and that goes back again, as we mentioned, with trade deadline. Kind of assuming that you would add a couple more arms. That's why it's so important to get some of their starters back.
What do you guys got for? What do you got for a count? 1-2, right?
Those 3 relievers among the appearance leaders in the National League.
Well, and you even have Lucas Sims, who is a workhorse as well.
Gavin Biggio down on strikes. 2 gone here in the 6th. And you were mentioning it leading up to Farmer's entry here. What a night for Brett Kennedy. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, 5 scoreless innings.
Fantastic. I mean, you're happy for him.
Ball 1.
That's a good start. I mean, you get to an independent baseball team, all those players that are playing, they live for what Kennedy just went through tonight.
Our lead researcher, Anthony Orza, put it kind of perfectly. If you believe in second chances, this is a pretty good place to start. Kennedy certainly did that. Chapman behind 1 and 2.
Well, just the way that we're seeing pitchers in both sides tonight for Toronto and Cincinnati. The day off yesterday, you have a fully rested bullpen. Offense is going to be really hard to come by unless you get a walk. So as long as the bullpens don't issue a walk, especially the way Barrios has been pitching, it's going to come down to one mistake, and you need to make a quality swing if you're a hitter.
Chapman takes strike 3. And a 1-2-3 6th for Farmer out of the bullpen. Cincinnati pitching has done their part tonight. Still scoreless. Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, presented by Chevron. Alex Faust, Ryan Spielbergs, Taylor McGregor here with you at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Top of the order due up for the Reds. TJ Friedl to lead things off. Jose Berrios labored in the second, but has been pretty lights out since. Leadoff walk to Stuart Fairchild. And since then, has been flawless virtually.
TJ Friedl will do anything he can to break this up. I've seen him bunt with 2 strikes.
Pops this up though. Shallow center. Kiermaier coming in. Espinal going out. And it's Espinal who makes the catch. One gone in the 6th. Stream every out-of-market game live or on demand. Now available at a new low price for the rest of the season, starting at $59.99. Blackout and other restrictions apply. MLB.tv is where you go for details. The MLB app is your place for live baseball, real-time highlights, and pitch-by-pitch updates faster than ever. Get personalized highlight reels of players you follow every day. Download the MLB app today. Crowd on a nice night here in Cincinnati.
He said nice night. It's a perfect
night. Yeah, you're right.
It is gorgeous.
But Rios is still dealing. He's retired 10 in a row. De La Cruz waiting on deck.
All right, here we go. Inside.
Berrios has taken a couple of no-hit bids deep-ish before, including one earlier this year in June. And right on cue, McLean breaks it up.
The broadcaster's jinx lives on. I think as you're watching McLean, you understand why, the Reds are what they are, is because these type of at-bats, you get to 2 strikes, just like a Whit Merrifield on the other side. That's basically the same swing and same stroke. We heard from Matt McLean, his favorite player growing up in California, he also played at UCLA, Mike Trout.
Late time called by De La Cruz at the plate, and Berrios was halfway through his motion.
That was about the timeout.
I see why De La Cruz called timeout. He knew Berrios was trying to quick pitch him.
Well, you mentioned earlier the pitch count for Berrios, and I know we were joking a little bit about a no-hit bid, but he's up to 95 pitches now. Season high is 106, and he's facing the meat of the Reds' order the 3rd time through.
De La Cruz is a switch hitter, but he hits much better from the left side than he does the right side. So if you do want to see any sort of action, he'll be flipping him to hit right-handed. And my guess is he will absolutely have the green light 3-0.
So this is his 6th game batting in the 3-hole, but takes a 4-pitch walk. Taylor?
De La Cruz must-see TV these days, but there was a time when many teams overlooked him. In fact, the Reds signed him for just $65,000 out of the Dominican Republic. Here's a look at him, 16 years old when he signed his contract. And the story goes, scouts only saw him because they were at a tryout to see somebody else. And I was asking Ellie about that day, and he said, yeah, I lied to them about my weight. I only weighed 130 pounds at the time. You can see here in this photo. And that day I told them I weighed 150 because I felt like if I was honest with my weight, they never would have signed me. Well, it worked out, and he's now playing at 210. So the knock on him early was that he just wasn't big enough, didn't have enough speed yet, didn't have enough power, but that's certainly no longer the case.
210, Taylor? With
210, or yeah, 210 is what he's playing at right now.
Okay, because he still looks like he has room to fill in.
He's my guess is he was 6'7" at this point. I mean, we stood next to him today, and he's, even his teammates, they look at him and say, that is not a baseball body. That's a freak.
Well, here we go. This is a big moment of the game. After a mound visit, Berrios dealing with Spencer Steer, the Reds cleanup man. Runners at 1st and 2nd. Biggest threat for Cincinnati so far tonight.
Steers first at bat, he worked a walk, and his last at bat, he grounded out on a changeup. They keep trying to get him out with changeups.
Steer, chopper. Guerrero cuts it off. The second for one, that's all they'll get. Barrios was hustling off the mound to cover, but Steer can run, and they would have had no chance. At the very least, they get an out. 2 gone here in the 6th. And Votto coming up to the plate.
Good decision making. So Guerrero, you know you have De La Cruz hustling towards second base. You have to keep that throw on the right field side of the bag. Just give Espinal a chance to throw. Espinal knows better than to try to make a throw on the run. Just take the out.
And with that, right at the century mark, 100 pitches, Barrios will depart with 2 aboard. And Votto coming to the plate. The Blue Jays go to their bullpen.
Powered by Google Cloud. How about the night of Jose Barrios? Really effective. Probably his ace stuff at the end of the night. He's going to be happy about what he did. 19 swings and misses. That's the most for him this season. Sinker was effective. 4-seam at the top. We continue to explain the changeup, and his usage tonight was a higher use than normal, and the good old slurve.
Well, perhaps the biggest strength for the Blue Jays this year has been their bullpen. Genesis Cabrera comes over from the Cardinals ahead of the deadline. 12 games with the Blue Jays. 12 innings pitched. He has yet to allow an earned run, and he will not yet. 1 pitch to get the ground out from Votto. And that'll end the threat for the Reds in the 6th. Still 0-0.
Messi! Could it have been any other way? Magnificent!
And that was just the debut against Cruz Azul. They've made it all the way to the Leagues Cup final. Messi with 9 goals in 6 matches. Inter Miami will face Nashville SC for the Leagues Cup trophy. Coverage of the final begins 8 p.m. Saturday on Apple TV. We knew there'd be a spark.
You didn't realize it was going to be that big of one?
Oh, man. An inferno. Alejandro Kirk pops this foul straight back against the new pitcher for the Reds, Ian Gibaut, another one of those heavily used relievers for the Reds.
Yeah, he's right at the top of the league in usage. 56 game now for Gibaut. And you watch him pitch. I mean, he's very aggressive with his pitches, very aggressive in the strike zone.
Kirk 0 for 2. Gibaut with his 56th appearance, tied for the most in the National League this season. Well, we wonder if this may be the difference in the game. The 2 bullpens. Toronto's among the best, if not the best in baseball. Cincinnati's has been pushed to the brink a bit. Gibaut retires Kirk to begin the 7th. Here's Varsho.
Well, this is where the advantage swings towards Toronto and Dalton Varsho. Lefties against Gibaut are hitting 266. A lot of the damage comes against lefties. You do not want to be at the top of this list unless you, by design, are using your bullpen. And I watched the Rockies. They had 15 different starters this season, so they're on that list due to injury.
Varsho's homered in 2 of his last 3 games. As he pops one up to center here, Friedel took a step back initially, but recovers in plenty of time. And a couple of flyouts here in the 7th.
Well, the Blue Jays are looking for some sort of offensive production, whether it's a walk or run into a homer. But to give you an idea, the Blue Jays offensively, you've expected a lot of power. They're -8 on the season in home run differential. So they've been out-homered by the opposition.
Which is so strange to think about how this roster is constructed. Espinal pops it up. Benson in right makes the catch. And a 1-2-3 7th for Gibaut. Time to stretch in Cincinnati. Strikes out Benson, and it's 3 up, 3 down for Berrios. McLean with a sparkling defensive play.
Right now the show begins. Time to go. It's time to go right now. Get ready.
What a night for Jose Berrios. Just 1 hit allowed in 5 2/3. One pitch from Genesis Cabrera to get Joey Votto. And he gives way to Yimi Garcia. Not a lot happening in this Reds box score. 8 strikeouts from Berrios, and Cincinnati blanked heading to the bottom of the 7th. Give credit to the Reds pitchers who have done the same to Toronto, and we're still looking for a crooked number on that scoreboard. Yimi Garcia makes his 56th appearance of the year. Another workhorse. On the ground from Encarnacion Strand. And Espinal makes the play. Let's send it back to Lauren Gardner in the studio for an update. LG.
What's up, Alex? Let's go ahead and get you out to the ATL. Bottom 2-0 Braves until Austin Riley hits this double. Run's going to score as the Braves are going to extend their lead over the Giants, who are just a game and a half ahead of the Reds. So good news there for Cincinnati fans.
Well, they'd love to pick off a team ahead of them, that's for sure. There's a base hit the other way for Tyler Stevenson. A 1-out single off Yimi Garcia.
That's how it has to start. Nice swing for Tyler Stevenson. We mentioned yesterday he spent the off day coming in and getting a little extra work. It's been a struggle for him. Only his 3rd hit now in 24 at bats. Inside out. He's not a threat to steal. And you're right, when you think of this Toronto Blue Jays bullpen, Garcia's probably not going to be the first name that comes to mind, but John Schneider was talking about how important Garcia is to this bullpen. He uses him in all sorts of different leverage. He has multiple weapons: curveball, slider, his sinker.
With all these different options between Cabrera, Garcia, you've got Eric Swanson, who was great while Jordan Romano was out hurt. You've got the law firm of Jordan & Jordan in the 8th and the 9th, and that's basically lights out. Cincinnati would love to do it now. This is popped up mile high in the infield by Benson, and it's dropped, allowing them to get the runner at first, and they're going to double them up. What a play! Oh. Vlad Guerrero with one of the savviest plays you'll see.
You're not supposed to steal candy from a baby, but that's exactly what Guerrero just did. Oh, he caught him napping. He looked to see if Will Benson was running. He saw that he wasn't. Gets Whit Merrifield, flips it over, and you get the 3, 4, 6 double play. You do not want to be Will Benson right now. It's one of those feelings when you go out to the outfield, you want to hide under a blade of grass. That's one of those friendly, unfriendly reminders. When you pop out, especially since it's not an infield fly rule scenario, get to first.
What a play. Kevin Gausman's wearing a mic for us tonight. Here's his reaction. What a play. Energy-wise, I just wonder if that changes the dynamic of the way things are going.
Yeah, it does. But you get Stevenson with the base hit. I feel like he has some pressure building. And now Lucas Sims comes into the game, another one of the Reds' main stables.
Faces Kiermaier, Merrifield, and Belt.
And Sims is going to throw primarily using his slider. So slider fastball.
Kiermaier, as mentioned earlier, first game back after running into that cheese grater at Fenway Park in deep center. Taylor?
But with Kevin Kiermaier, part of the Blue Jays' plan this offseason was run prevention, and so he was brought in for his defense, and he'll tell you, I knew my path to the major leagues was to be really, really good defensively, and this Blue Jays team, considered by many to be the best defensive team in baseball. When you talk about run prevention, their ERA also leads baseball, and so they have done what they set out to do this offseason, and Kiermaier leading the charge specifically in the outfield.
He's been wonderful, and Schneider is very happy that he is no longer an opposing outfielder. Mentioned how it killed him that he would rob the Blue Jays of hits frequently when he was with Tampa Bay. 2 balls and a strike to Merrifield. Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus is presented by Chevron, the human energy company, and sponsored in part by Meineke, doing car care right. Alex Faust, Ryan Spilbergs, Taylor McGregor here with you, deadlocked in Cincinnati. Top 8s. And from 2-0 to 2-2 to Whit Merrifield, who has one of the 3 Blue Jays hits tonight, a single to lead off the game.
Yeah, you don't want Whit to get on base because he'll steal second. We said this in the open about what makes Whit Merrifield so impressive is hitting with 2 strikes. The best hitter in baseball with 2 strikes. The .313 batting average after an 0-2 count is just ridiculous.
Taylor?
I was asking him today about his 2-strike approach, and he gives all the credit to his dad. He said, from a very young age, my goal was to put the ball in play, and I knew I had to do that. He even talked about his dad, Bill, being his Little League coach, and his dad wouldn't play him because he wasn't one of the best 9 players, so he had to grind his way to putting the ball in play so he could get in the lineup.
Thank you for that, Taylor. And despite all the foul balls, staying in that at bat, he's another strikeout victim of the Blue Jays tonight.
Well, that's Lucas Sims' slider. It's just this time he goes by design up in the strike zone. That's a really tough one to hit.
Sims with back-to-back Ks brings up Belt. Belt crossed up, ball and a strike. In all, there have been 6 strikeout victims from Toronto, but 4 of them have come against the Cincinnati bullpen. Big shift on for Belt, who takes ball 2.
If you're Brandon Belt, you're almost sitting slider this entire at bat.
Ball 3.
You don't want to get to the point where you're guessing or coming off the fastball, but because Sims is primarily fastball slider, it's 50-50, and the slugging against the slider is so great, you might as well just sit on that pitch. You're going to get one. He got one and he missed it. There's a slider he's sitting on. You can even tell by the timing of his swing, and he just missed it.
Stays alive again.
Even on that last pitch, that's a fastball. Again, we've seen a lot of late swings on fastballs, but to me, that's showing you that Belt is sitting slider. You can go elevated fastball, or you can try to do pitch in the dirt. There's the elevated fastball. So I mean, you can tell just based on swings what to do next.
Blue Jays haven't produced a base runner since the 3rd. Their last hit was from Brandon Belt. And Belt crushes one. Deep right field. It is foul.
He got the slider. For whatever reason, we've seen like a force field down the lines preventing homers. Sitting soft, he got it. This time he barrels it. And it just hooked at the very end.
Another payoff. This time, it's ball 4. 9-pitch at bat, and he grinds out a 2-out walk to keep the inning alive.
That's what we heard from John Schneider before the game. Brandon Belt leads the American League in pitches per plate appearance and just finds a way to get on base. Second time tonight. This becomes a key at bat. I mean, we've been waiting to see Guerrero. Guerrero, for the years that I've watched him play, he's at his best when he's in the ball center field, right center.
Guerrero's last home run came August 4th. And Guerrero pops it up on the first pitch. In the infield, Votto makes the catch. And still the Blue Jays have not found a way. Just 3 hits on the night. Key play, take you back to the 7th after the single from Tyler Stevenson. Will Benson, a pop fly. That lands, winds up being a double play. Ted Barra joins us. If you could go through the mechanics of the infield fly and what happens in that situation, why doesn't that apply?
Yeah, the requirements weren't met for an infield fly on this because there has to be runners at first and second or bases loaded with less than 2 outs. In this case, there was only a runner at first base. Also, people might be wondering why it was not an intentionally dropped fly ball. And in this case, he let the ball fall untouched. So this is a legal play. It's a smart play. As the hitters, we got to run that ball out, right?
That's right, Teddy.
Appreciate it, Ted. Thanks for the clarification.
Good to see it. One of my favorites. Well, that's the thing. You'll see, like if a fielder, say for example, a shortstop gets a line drive hit at him, they know they have a player at first base that's not running. They might let it hit the glove and then drop it. That's an intentional knocking down a fly ball. In this case, he just let it drop.
And all because if Benson gets to first, he can just stay there.
Yeah, he stays there.
That's your out with the other player that is frozen essentially. New pitcher for the Blue Jays here in the 8th is Eric Swanson. And this is part, again, as we've talked about, how deep this bullpen goes for the Blue Jays. Swanson, who kind of filled in when Jordan Romano was out hurt. Bases 9, 1, and 2 for the Reds. Fairchild pops this one foul.
At the start of the year, I thought the starting rotation and offense would be the strengths of the Toronto Blue Jays. As this season has progressed, it's become the defense and the bullpen. And I think as you're watching the rest of the season unfold for Toronto, the bullpen is going to be the strength of the team.
Swanson delivers and Fairchild strikes out. Talk about the strikeout victims for Toronto. How about Toronto's pitching getting the 9th strikeout victim for the Reds?
Yeah, bottom just falls off. That's a split finger. And there's a bunch of different types of pitches coming out of Toronto's bullpen, so it's not one type of arm.
Ball 1.
Chapman a couple steps in on the grass for TJ Friedl.
And this game's going to boil down to one missed, located off-speed pitch that gets hit out.
Yeah. Wow, that was close. Friedl laid off. Friedl in only his 3rd major league season. Banged up with injury all year, but he made what folks in Cincinnati are calling the catch of the year on Wednesday night. Waves at an off-speed pitch there. This took a 2-run home run away from Ramon Laureano and changed the complexion of this game, a game in which the Reds would go on to win a split of a 2-game set against their Ohio rivals in the Guardians.
Well, the beauty of that play was that they just started working on it. Talked to Colin Cowgill about working with the outfielders earlier today around batting practice.
Your homer robbing stuff, how great's that?
It's so fun. You know, we did it for one of the first or second times.
And Friedl robbed somebody.
Friedl robbed the homer, so obviously
now everybody,
by default, we got to do it again, you know.
Well, Friedl gives this one a ride, but it's out number 2. That was interesting how it was just happenstance that they were running that drill that day. I mean, they hadn't done that since spring training, just to, you know, refresh everybody on timing for catches up against the wall.
It's also fun.
Well, yeah.
Well, it's part of their routine. They were out earlier today. They used a pitching machine right behind second base, and they worked on it.
I'm sure that was fun for you to practice.
Oh, yeah.
Though I don't think anybody had as much swagger as what J-Rod did in Seattle.
That was just cruel.
With the total fake out of 40,000 people in the ballpark.
Everybody.
And the broadcasters. Swing and a miss from McLean. We will be in Seattle next week. We can ask him firsthand of all the machinations that went into that.
And when J-Rod gets hot, he gets hot. He's been on fire lately.
Chopper to third. Chapman off the short hop, has no play. It's going to be a tough play regardless. I thought he would have had an opportunity, but he eats it. And it's an infield single for McLean.
Well, this is one of the best third basemen in baseball. Some of the softest hands in between hop. That is so difficult to play. And it just ends up being the transfer. Chapman is a +5 in defensive runs saved. That's near the top of baseball. And now you put on first base Matt McLean with 9 stolen bases. De La Cruz, I mean, the game could come down to this matchup.
Elly De La Cruz with a runner aboard trying to break the deadlock. 2 gone in the 8th, and he takes inside for ball 1.
Now you can imagine if he runs into one, what this crowd, how they're going to react. I mean, they're already getting on their feet.
Oh, he thought he had one.
But the biggest challenges you have late in the game is you want to do something because you can feel the crowd, you feel the energy, and you just have to stay within yourself. None of these relievers give much. So he did get a hanging split finger. But you almost have to shorten up.
And is that where experience comes in of knowing the game situation?
Sure, but I also think it's the personality. You want to match the energy, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Three.
You'll hear savvy veteran pitchers in these scenarios where players want to go fast to slow down, throw slower, throw as soft as possible, which is why the split finger works so well.
Clearly they're being careful here.
Woo!
I think if you throw another one of those split fingers, it gets hit a long way. If it ends up in that spot, down and away from Ellie.
McLean will get a head start. Here comes the payoff. And it's ball 4. De La Cruz has his second walk tonight.
Now that is what I'm talking about when it comes to youth and being able to stay patient. That was an excellent 3-2 take. They didn't expand the strike zone. Something, again, this Reds team, that's not a normal trait for a young team, is to stay within the strike zone. You'll see a lot of guys will fire on that pitch.
Conference on the mound. Pete Walker having a chat with Eric Swanson. And now the stage is set for Spencer Steer. No player, no rookie player in the National League has more hits and runs batted in than Steer. 25-year-old rookie. Played his college ball at Oregon. A walk and a fielder's choice tonight. Ball 1.
He has one of the lowest first pitch strike swing rates, so he's not going to fire, and clearly borderline strike takes it, so he's already in a leverage count. Here's the pitch. This is the pitch for the at-bat.
Ball and a strike, 2 on, 2 out, bottom of the 8th in a scoreless game. And Steer went after it.
And even though Steer with 2 strikes can grind you down, the 1-1 split finger, just a brilliant pitch call right there by Alejandro Kirk, and perfect execution from Swanson.
Steer, broken bat, foul. Jonathan India looking on.
So even with 2 strikes, pointing out Whit Merrifield, thinking of TJ Friedel, some of the guys on the field tonight are one of the best in baseball. Spencer Steer hits 240 with 2 strikes. The league average is right around 160 when you get to 2 strikes.
One, 2, up and in.
Just barely.
And a strikeout for Swanson to get out of the jam. The Reds leave 2 stranded in the 8th. We head to the 9th in a scoreless tie. Welcome back to Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus, presented by Chevron. Alex Faust, Ryan Spilborghs, Taylor McGregor here with you at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. What a night for baseball. Just a slight chill in the air as we reach the 9th inning. As we take a look at pitching decisions presented by Sage. With Alexis Diaz coming in, we look back at the top half of the night.
Well, the chill might be both bullpens in pitching tonight because it was fantastic. This is the matchup. We're watching Spencer Steer, one of the best young rookies in baseball. He's also been one of the better guys with a quality at bat. You saw the splitter, sets up the 4-seam fastball, and that's how Eric Swanson ended up winning that battle. Fastball up and in.
So the closer this season for Cincinnati, Alexis Diaz, will face Cavan Biggio, Matt Chapman, and Alejandro Kirk here in the 9th.
Now, traditionally, you used to never see a closer pitch in a tie game at home in the 9th inning. The reason why you've seen a change, a shift from a lot of these different managers is it because of the extra inning rules. So extra inning rules, you get to the 10th inning, you start with a base runner at second base. It's not a clean inning. And a lot of these managers would prefer, because it becomes a bit of a crapshoot, to just play this inning clean, use your best high-level reliever, get into the bottom of the 9th inning with the chance to win, and if you get into extra innings, so be it. So that's the philosophy that's shifted in the last couple of years. Also, Diaz, it's not a bad idea to bring him in. He's the best reliever in baseball, and when you think of some of the certain metrics that he has, he's listed at 6'2". He has the biggest extension in baseball. So what in the world does that mean? He releases the ball 7 feet 7 inches away. He's closer to home plate than virtually any pitcher in baseball.
And yet there are many pitchers who tower over him. But he leads the majors in saves. And is trying to become the 7th Reds pitcher to lead the National League in saves, and the first since Jeff Shaw in 1997. Cavan Biggio with a nice at bat here. We haven't really talked about Biggio. This is a guy who struggled for playing time for a long while. He's worked a lot with the machines to try to replicate spins and speeds just to stay ready. And it seems to have turned things around for a guy whose average wasn't that great. Takes strike 3 on the outside corner. And it's now an 0-for-3 night for Biggio as he has a word with Dambolino.
Well, it's called and go in the Reds' favor on the 2-2 count. It's basically the same spot, but this time you get the call. It should have gone in the Reds' favor on 2-2. There's Tyler Stevenson. You start from the bottom, you work your way up.
Matt Chapman takes a strike. Toronto has lost 4 of 6 entering today, struggling to score runs over the last couple weeks. Cincinnati has lost a lot of games this month. Who wants this foul ball? Winds up being Votto all the way from the bag. Winds up about 15 feet from home plate to make the catch.
Well, Joey Votto turns 40 September 10th. As I'm watching him play, he does not look like he's about to turn 40.
Reds will have a decision on him at the end of the year, but they'll cross that bridge when they get there.
Well, it'll be Votto leading off the bottom of the 9th. You got to get there first. Alejandro Kirk a season ago was in the MVP discussion, and this season it's been tough.
Yeah, offensively and defensively, right? Framing numbers were way down to begin the year, never mind the production at the plate.
He's somebody that was as hard to strike out in the sport, and we've seen in the last couple of years that the guys that do have lower strikeout rates, that do put the ball in play, they tend to have some of their slugging numbers go up. This year it has not been a nice year for him offensively.
Two and two. Kirk was the top hitting catcher in all of baseball last year, made his first career All-Star game. Crowd wanted it desperately. 1 and 2, didn't get it.
Yeah, a bunch of captains tonight.
Here comes a payoff. And Kirk pops it up. Long way to run for Friedl. In from center, but he makes the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 ninth. Joey Votto to lead things off for the Reds in the bottom half, looking to break the deadlock and end the night. Will he end the night for Cincinnati? He'll have to deal with the flame-throwing Jordan Hicks. Trade deadline acquisition for the Blue Jays. Saved 8 games for St. Louis in 11 opportunities before coming over to Toronto in a trade. Both bullpens have been terrific tonight.
Neither bullpen bending or breaking in the case of Jordan Hicks. They call him the human blowtorch.
That fastball can get up to 102 as Votto fouls a 98-mile-an-hour fastball back.
And it's not just any sort of fastball, it's a sinking fastball. It's not a very high spin rate fastball, so the league's hitting 277 against it.
Votto hits one in the air, hard to right, and a leaping catch by Biggio, who tracked it the whole way. Biggio got a great jump on that ball and made it look seamless.
Well, you're going to have guys playing no doubles, so they're going to play deep. I mean, off the bat, you thought maybe it had a chance to get over the head of Biggio, but to your point, really nice read, couple steps.
And now the rookie, Encarnacion Strand, as he sees a breaking ball.
Well, the thing that stands out with Jordan Hicks, has a pretty high walk rate, 14%. That's well above league average. So if you can work a walk, he'll take it. But the stuff is too good. You can't just try to walk up to the at bat and say, "Hey, I'm gonna take."
There's that fastball at 100. It's not just the speed, Billy, just the look out of his hand.
It's a bit of a short arm. And it just gets on you. There's a two-seam. That's where you get the action. The movement.
I mean, it truly looks like a human pitching machine. Like, you know, when the ball gets lifted up by the machine, it just comes through the wheels.
Yeah, well,
it looks like that.
There's the old Iron Mike. He used to not want to be called an Iron Mike because it's easy for hitters to pick up. In this case, I hear what you're saying because it's so short and pops out at you.
So after a quick word from Kirk, Hicks ready to deliver a 1-2. 2-2.
He's listed at 6'2", but you can just tell as you're watching him, he creates so much power and leverage. Uh-oh.
Encarnacion Strand ends the night for the Reds. Another magic moment for a rookie in Cincinnati.
Are you on board yet with the Reds? Because there's plenty of room on this boat. The one pitch that could really speed up the bat of Encarnacion Strand is the slider, the sweeper. And in a night where it looked like it was going to come down to one pitch, one team, it was the Reds. What a swing.
103 plus off the bat.
There it is, just sitting in the middle part of the plate. And when he gets it, he gets it. Reds fans were calling for him in spring training. They wanted to see him make the team.
And with one swing, the Reds are now just a game and a half back of the Brewers for the division lead. Christian is standing by with Taylor downstairs.
Thank you, Alex. Christian, Jordan has high-end velocity, and then you hit a sweeper out of the ballpark. How were you prepared for that pitch?
Honestly, just ready for the fastball. I talked to India before. He said, be ready for the...
You were saying India gave you advice. What was he saying?
He said stay on the fastball, see the first pitch, and then everything else should work itself out.
How did the at-bats before you, the way you were able to track him on the end-deck circle, set you up?
I just try to fill out my swing on deck. I'm not really too concerned about timing when I'm on deck, oddly enough. I just try to fill out my moves, and in there I just make the move.
This team has been so fun to watch the last couple of months. What is it like inside of your clubhouse day in and day out?
Oh, the clubhouse is a blast. No matter what happens, we're ready. We're pumped and we're ready to go every day, no matter the outcome.
You just think about what this team is able to do down the stretch. In your opinion, if you guys track down the NL Central, what will it be a product of?
Wait, say that again.
To win the NL Central, what does this group need to continue to do?
Just play ball hard. Old school baseball. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy, old school, hard-nosed baseball.
What does this moment mean to you personally?
It's awesome. I'm happy. I'm happy we can win. That was a tough game. That was a good game, but I'm happy we can win.
Congratulations. Alex?
This monumental run from these Reds rookies continues. A Capital One walk-off from Christian Encarnacion Strand. All the Reds would need tonight, and Capital One is donating $1,000 to the Jackie Robinson Foundation for every walk-off this season.
Oh, man. I mean, off the bat, if you've ever hit a ball and you've seen it go over the fence, it feels like one thing, but to hit a ball that goes out and sends all the fans home happy and ready to yacht rock. They are building something here. It's tangible, it's obvious, and it's something that you want to be a part of.
And as he let you know. Yeah, you got a little cold beverage thrown on you.
Yeah, but when you're that hot, it feels so good.
Why not? What a finish here in Cincinnati as the Reds win it 1-0. Big shout out to a couple of crew members who are working their last game of the season with us. They're heading over to college football. Dave Walcott, Billy Sherry, thanks for a great season, guys. We'll miss you. We appreciate you. 1-0 the final here. Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus returns next week with another doubleheader. First at 7 Eastern, Mookie Betts returns to Boston as the Dodgers battle with the Red Sox. Then at 10 Eastern, Bobby Witt Jr. and the Royals head to Seattle for a matchup with Julio Rodriguez and the Mariners. So for Ryan Spilbergs, Taylor McGregor, and our entire crew, this is Alex Faust. Stay tuned for Friday Night Baseball post-game coverage from the studio. We'll see you next week in Seattle.